What's happening, guys? Today I want to talk about sore backs, in particular the lower back. It seems to be very much an epidemic in today's society and the way we live, and very much a common theme inside gyms. You know, people complaining of a tight lower back or sore lower back, unable to do their squats or their deads or their runs or whatever it might be. Generally speaking, guys, sore lower back is a cause of several muscular imbalances, but I'm going to talk about two today. But generally speaking, okay, it is caused by muscular imbalances around that lower back, like the hip and lower back region. All right, I'm not. If you've got a sore back, guys, you need to go seek someone professional. Go for it. I'm not a physio. I'm not a specialist or anything like that. I'm just dropping some knowledge bombs on you from what I've learned over the years in studies and working with people with sore backs and liaising with professionals in the field. And just thought I'd do this video to sort of give you a bit of a knowledge bomb today. So basically, I draw a little diagram. So this is my little figure. Okay, so this is someone standing that way. That's their feet. Here's their little nose. Okay, here's their hips. Sort of their lower cross region. That's what they call their lower cross, okay? Basically the lower cross region. All right, we've got this is your lower back, your abdominals, okay? ABC, this is your upper hamstrings and glutes, okay? So we're talking back here, I'm not sure if you can see me. And here, the hip flexors, all right? In order for your body to be working properly, so basically these four regions, let's call them, need to be working together with equal amount of effort, equal amount of input in order for the body to be running at a completely optimum level. In the real world, it's very hard to keep them completely balanced all the time. Obviously, everyone's going to get aches and pains and niggles, but ideally, that's what it takes to have the body running at an optimum level. Now, I'm going to talk about the two sort of main muscular imbalances, guys, today that cause like an anterior pelvic tilt and a posterior pelvic tilt. I'll get to that in a second. But basically, guys, what happens, the two main imbalances, so the body's very much made up of, even from the front side, guys, when we look at the body, it's made up of slings and crosses, and it's just the way the body's sort of systemized in a way. Without going too much into it, we'll try and keep it super simple for you. Basically, guys, the two main imbalances is sometimes these two muscles, so your core and your upper hammies or your glutes become very, very shortened or tight or very tight, okay? And then therefore, these ones here, and they do all the work, and therefore your lower back and your hip flexors become sort of very stretched and relaxed and just limp in a way, or a little bit weak, okay? And that causes muscular imbalance, all right? Or there's the opposite end of the scale, where your lower back becomes super tight, takes all the load, and your hip flexors tighten up from, a lot of times sitting down, they tend to shorten, and sort of that's where the body thinks that they should be, and they shorten and tighten up and cause all sorts of imbalances. But let's talk about anterior pelvic tilt first. So basically, what causes anterior pelvic tilt is having super tight lower back and super tight hip flexors, guys. So, and what I mean by anterior pelvic tilt is, let's just say this is your hips, okay? Your hips are nice and level, facing that way again, okay? What happens is basically your hips, they tilt forward, okay? They tilt. So they'll tilt. How can I draw this? They tilt like that, yeah? They sort of tilt forward, causing you to have a duck butt, is what I call it. Okay, duck butt. If you're one of my clients, you've probably heard me say that a million times. I run with a duck butt sometimes because my core becomes a bit tired, but that's just me. If you're a bit of, so anterior pelvic tilt is basically when your hips tilt forward, okay, causing that duck butt, and your chest, that big gorilla sort of chest. You see those dudes walking around with big bums and big chests, like. But they've generally got too much of a curve in their lower back, basically. So another little diagram, actually. I'll draw this quickly. So that's another little man, okay, facing that way. Once again, there's his nose, there's his feet. Okay, everyone has a lordotic curve. So everyone's got a slight curve in their lower back, which is normal, that's fine. Okay, but what happens when this tightens up too much and these tighten up? This becomes a little bit deeper. And that's what compresses on the lower back and causes all the aches and pains and imbalances in the body. These shorten and this becomes a lot deeper, guys, all right? And that's what causes, so this is a lordotic curve, we've all got a lordotic curve, that then is called hyper, meaning, too much, I guess, lordosis, okay? Hyperlordosis is what that's called, and that causes the anterior pelvic tilt. Okay, so one more time, guys, what causes this is having a tight lower back, okay, and tight hip flexors doing all the work, they're taking all the load, and having weak glutes or upper hamstrings, and weak tummy. Okay, so if you look at my sort of posture, I don't know if you can see me, having that duck butt with a tight back and chest out, this is all stretched and sort of relaxed, not turned on, your tummy. And you know, your upper hammies and glutes aren't really turned on either because your back's just sort of taking all the load. All right, and again, that's called duck butt in my language, in simple terms, okay, or anterior pelvic tilt, or hyperlordosis, okay? There's a few little different referrals for it. Excuse me. Now I'm just gonna get rid of this so we don't get confused. All right, no butt, or I think it's called something back, sway back or something like that. Sway back, maybe they call it in the books and stuff like that. But so basically having no butt, so basically when you look at someone and you know, they might have just back and it doesn't really have, they don't really have a little butt, and so this is meant to be a bum, guys. They might, it's just sort of curves under, okay? It just goes from like back to their legs, okay? And this is what you call hypo, so sort of lack of lordosis, okay? So again, we've got that figurine, okay? He's looking that way. They tend to sort of stay straight down or sort of tucked under. Instead of having a natural curve, they've sort of tucked it under. Because what's happening there, guys, is so we're causing a posterior pelvic tilt. So again, let's look at the hips. So the hip line should be sort of level, okay? And what's happening is your hips are tilting back. So you would draw that this way, okay? So basically your hips are going back in because your tummy, so here, because B is super tight doing all the work, so that's really crunched on, it's sort of like that fetal position. So when you think of a fetal position, guys, you're crunched over, your butt's tucked in, you haven't got much of a butt, it's all curved over, it's just sort of back. All right, so what's happening, guys, with the posterior pelvic tilt is tummy's too tight, your glutes are too overworked, too tight, or upper hamstrings, okay? Your hip flexors become very sort of stretched out, lengthened, and sort of relaxed, and so does your back. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, guys. So one more time, the two main imbalances, duck butt. Duck butt is having, I'll see if you can see the board. Duck butt is basically causing an anterior pelvic tilt. Okay, it means you've got to work on your front side of your abdominals, or transverse abdominals. So yeah, the front side of your abs, guys. You want to work on your core, okay? You work on your upper hamstring. You want to try and toughen them up, turn them on a little bit, activate them, engage them. So what's happening here? You've got a super strong back, yes, but it's just doing all the work. It's getting tired. It needs a rest. It needs some help. You know what I mean? It needs some help from its friendly muscles around it. All right, and it's got super tight hip flexors. If you've got someone sore back from having sort of the no butt or the sway back or the Pink Panther syndrome, I think they call it, something like that. This is called hypolordosis, and that's a posterior pelvic tilt where it tilts back and you're drawn in. Okay. Weakness is obviously your lower back, okay, and your hip flexors. They're a little bit weak. They're not working properly. They need to pick up the slack a little bit, put a bit more effort. And the tight muscles here, or overworked muscles here, guys, are your abs and your upper hammies, causing that real fetal sort of position. I hope that made sense, guys. I try to keep it simple and I try to keep it quick. I try to give you as much information as I could. I'm going to do some more videos on how to sort of help these things as well, guys, and how to help, you know, duck butt and no butt or Pink Panther butt or whatever it is, sway back in videos to come. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. I hope you learned something. Any questions, you know where to find me. Cheers, guys. See you at the gym.